the applications work, because that's really where the buzz all starts from. Now, as big a buzz about the availability is the negative buzz about the security. Right? How secure is the cloud? After all, when it was on my server on my PC, I had it, right? So you got to take it from me. But now it's in the cloud. Where is it gone? Who's got it? What are they going to do with it? How secure is it? Yeah. So the issue is always, well, the security of the cloud. And there are people, I mean, if you read the literature about this, half say not secure. Talking to a bank, they would be like, well, I'm not putting my stuff in the cloud. And then others say, well, it's very secure. The answer is really, it depends on who's running the cloud, who's the provider. Because you can provision the cloud to be as secure as a traditional client server. Or you can position the cloud to be as open and naked as a client server. I can't tell you how many places we go into from an information security perspective where it wouldn't take much thought or creativity to get into their system and take their information. Just drive down the street and turn on a wireless device and look at the number of neighbors and friends that you have that have unencrypted wireless, which gives you a free and open door to whatever they own. So they own it, but it's not more secure than that cloud. So the point to be made on security in the cloud is, let the buyer beware. Wherever you're going, whomever you're choosing, if you're choosing a cloud application and a cloud provider, you need to make sure that they take security as a first-tier level of importance, that they aren't really thinking about, just providing the application. They're concerned about the security of your data, the security of their application. Because you can travel information in the air, and we all know it from a wireless perspective, and it can be more secure than traveling in the wire. We can guard whatever we do when we send information, if we put encryption around it and certain types of security that is impenetrable, then whether it flies in the air or flies on a piece of wire, it doesn't matter to us. It doesn't matter to us because it's safe. So is the cloud computing for everyone? Well, there are some people who say, yeah, everybody should get involved in the cloud. I'm not one of those people. I think everybody has to make that decision on their own. They have to look at their individual needs. I'll tell you some of the things that I think dictate one way or the other. One very important thing is how much do you need to have possession of the data? If it's critically important that you have possession of the data because you need to operate numerous other programs in conjunction with that data in a connectivity model, then the cloud might be a little more difficult and a little more costly because you may not have the access to the storage, the schema, and the location that you might need to be able to talk to that data. If it really doesn't matter if you're using, an email or something, it really doesn't matter where the data is, then the cloud might be great for you. The cost of the cloud might be another determining factor. The cost is typically lower because if it's an established application provider who already has a cloud, then fundamentally what they're going to do is be able to provide you with your piece, your cost, which might be a lot lower than buying infrastructure. I can't tell you how many times we go in and sell an ERP system and you look at the cost of the licenses is $70,000 and the cost of the hardware to support the licenses is $40,000, and all of a sudden it's out of the budget for somebody and you haven't even put 1 ounce of service into it. So the cloud in those environments might be very applicable. So if your environment is like that, that might be a very applicable thing. Again, provider is the key. I would check once, twice, thrice, and do it again before I put my data and my trust in any cloud provider. There are lots of well-known names out there. This is one place where anybody could pull up a sign and say, I'm the cloud, because there's no special highway to get to the cloud. were all available. You could have a cloud in your room. I'm working in an operation where we're looking for a DR site, and we went to a DR site that had a great website. We did a physical visit. They were a cloud provider, and they're right next to a pizza shop in a flood zone in a little strip mall in the western part of the state. If you looked at the picture, which was their headquarters, which was in Colorado, you'd think you were going to Fort Knox. I mean, it didn't take much time for us to say, I don't think this is the right provider for us. So there are different types of clouds. You'll hear all about clouds in the coming months, in the coming years. It's not going to go away. There are all sorts of ways to use the clouds. And there's even now the idea of a private cloud. So one way to make sure that I'm secure is to build my own cloud. But why would I do that? Well, I might have a lot of people on the road who need access to the applications, who are using the applications that are cloud capable, and it might be easier for me, rather than setting up secure VPN connections, to have them talk to the cloud. But what I'll do is I'll put a barrier around my cloud so you can't come in. So it's a private cloud. And there are numerous types of these. There's public clouds, private clouds, there are sector clouds, group clouds, interconnecting clouds, all doing the same thing. Basically, taking information, putting it out somewhere, and allowing you to access it. Application somewhere allowing you to access it. And all you need then is your browser. So the more these things take off, I guarantee you the more you'll see cloud. Because right now I can, even though my accounting application isn't in the cloud, it could be. I could be working on my accounting system while I'm having lunch. Or I could be doing a lot of things while I'm having lunch. And as these become more accessible, people are starting to say, it's not the device that's here that I'm keying into, it's where the intelligence is that counts. So the cloud is here, it's here to stay. I think you're going to see more of it. It's pretty darn secure as long as you get the right provider. And I think the only, they say, what are the advantages, the disadvantages? The advantages, scalability. The advantage, accessibility. The advantages are, the ability to fluctuate. The disadvantages, well, if there ain't no connection, you got no cloud. If you got no cloud, you got no data. If you got no data, you have no application you can work. That could be a little bit of trouble. So again, you have to take that into consideration as you're looking to buy. So, is the cloud simple or what?
Makes much more sense now.
Much more sense? All right. Then we should eat.
To the cloud.
We'll go to the cloud and eat. Anybody have any questions? That being said, thank you very much for listening.
And there are a number of folks from GraVoc here, so over the course of lunch, if you have some questions.